Okay, welcome back and thank you very much. If it's your birthday today, happy birthday. Let's get to hear from you by way of your contributions, your text and your comments. We are hashtag on Twitter, hashtag TV3Newday. And for the roads that we showed you at the Kponkatamaso area opposite Michelle Camp and also the baller or the rubbish at Nkrumah Circle, let's get to know what you think of them. But quickly, let's take a look at the headline. Supreme Court directs Honyanuga to continue with Opuni trial. That's on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Also ahead of 2022 budget, IEA calls for resource mobilization, accountable governance, deepen transparency. President has urged the MMDCEs. On the back page, 2 arrested over killing of family head at Pram Pram, and woman jailed 6 years for faking her kidnap. The Ghanaian Times this morning says Ghana's preparedness for earthquakes. Auditing of public buildings set to begin. Osu Castle, Jubilee House, Parliament House, others included. I say check the Independence Square. It's breaking apart piece by piece, whoever you are. I will revisit referendum to pave the way for election of MMDCs, according to the President of the Republic. SC retains Justice Honyanuga to handle Cocoa Board financial loss case. IODGH opens nominations for the 4th Ghana Corporate Excellence Awards. What's on the back page? 40 health environmental experts discuss elimination of lead poisoning among children. An interministerial consultative workshop on implementation of Ghana's CSVMS opens in Accra. Daily Guide. I won't take excuses. Nana warns MMDCEs. Opuni judge reinstated. And 100,000 Ghana cedis bail for Shatawale, medical and 3 boys. Tagrade kidnap hoax lady jailed 6 years. The Daily Statesman. Pragya Aboboya banned at Efia Kwesiming Tim and transform your local economies. President charges MMDCs. Opuni suffers big blow. Justice Honyanuga cleared to resume the trial. The Finder newspaper. Supreme Court reinstates judge in Opuni's trial. Republic Bank supports Black Stars with 200,000 Ghana cedis. Non-performing MMDCs will be sacked, according to President Akufo-Addo. And poverty, youth unemployment, major instruments for conflicts in Africa. Osafo Mafo is the senior presidential advisor. Also, court affirms ENI Springfield unitization directive, dismisses ENI's judicial review application. The Republic Press. Abosokan, Sodom and Gomorrah to go down. Pragya ban in Efia Kwesiminti municipality with immediate effect. And Alfred Ogbami Shatawale medical and normalization of prosecutorial and judicial absurdities. Also, banner headline, no way out. Opuni faces Honyanuga again. Scapegoat gets 6 years for Takrady fake kidnapping sins, and Shatawale granted 100,000 Ghana cedis bail. Of course, with one surety to be justified, he need a public servant to, for him. Ghana to implement global peace initiatives and transform your local economies. Akufo-Addo tells MMDCEs upon Nkrumah Tax GBC Reorganization Committee, and Justice Honyanuga back on the Opuni case. Finally, the BNFT. GRA hits over 39 billion Ghana cedis revenue in first 3 quarters. Also, economic model must transition to production for recovery. And the banner headline, CD to end 2021 as 6 Ghana cedis and 5 pesos, according to Data Bank. Another headline there says, course affirmed ex-energy minister's directive on Afina Sankofa unitization. My guest this morning is Mr. Fred Agbenyo. He's the man who deputizes at the NDC National Headquarters for International Relations. And also, we have Dr. Bernard Okuboy. He is a former Member of Parliament for Lejokuku, former Deputy Health Minister, and former Board Chair at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Johnny, great. Fred, where have you been hiding?
Yeah, you've abandoned me. I mistook you for a brother, but I just realized that I'm not one.
International relations, the abandonment for Hobe.
But I've been around. And,
good to see you,
I've been watching you.
Good to see you.
I think you're doing a great job. TV3 is doing a great job. Continue. You're celebrating your 25th birthday, right?
24th.
24th birthday.
24.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I think that you have contributed immensely to the political discourse and the development of Ghana. So we pray that the good Lord continue to strengthen you so you can continue to do a good job for Ghana.
Thank you. Doc, how are you?
Yeah, Vice President, I'm fine. He says he thinks you are doing well, but for me, I will not say I think.
I didn't say I think. I said they are doing well.
I will say you are doing well.
Thank you.
So that you realize that the incumbent appreciates you more
than the opposition. Okay. I see. So, tomorrow is a big day for you.
Yes,
You're launching your book. Is this your first?
No, this is my third book.
This is your third book.
Yeah.
It's called what? The Mother in the Monster. What a title.
And the thesis is, the subtitle is Calming the Storm at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Leadership at a Tough Terrain. Now, I have another book here written by Professor Frimpong Boateng.
Okay.
The title is Taming a Monster.
Okay.
So this is where it comes from.
It inspired you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So after 5 to 6 years at Kolebu as CEO, Prof. Frimpong Boateng wrote this book and more or less described Kolebu as a monster that cannot be killed, but can at best be tamed.
Be tamed, okay.
And my experience there, this book more or less chronicles the journey from a monster to a compassionate mother.
I see.
And
I like the artwork.
Yes,
Sweet.
Yes. You know, when you are you need a lot of
don't rub it
innovation.
in. Don't rub it in. It's
Yes,
okay.
Once I look at my brother's direction,
you want to say
I
something?
wanted to say something. I see. You brought me back.
I see. Nice book, though.
Yes,
so when are you launching this? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow at Aliza.
Okay.
Because of COVID, we made the numbers few. But obviously, we are going to have a lot of discussions. I think the inspiration is to more or less assure ourselves as Ghanaians that any place can be transformed or made efficient.
Right.
But we first must be committed because there are times when people see the challenge but stay away from dealing with it because it will come with difficulties. And these are one of those occasions where we saw what everybody has seen over the years and by the grace of God had the courage to deal with it. So it's an interesting read.
It is.
And
it is. I'm already looking at the blurb and I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
I'm enjoying
Jenny, I
it.
think
Congratulations.
It's worth congratulating him and commending him for this very giant step he has taken. He was in Kolebu for barely how many years?
2 years.
Just about 2 years as a board chairman of Kolebu. All of us know the challenges and the difficulties that come from Kolebu every now and then. But for the 2 years that I was there, we saw some relative stability. You know, the usual things that you hear of. These people are on strike and doing that and that. We didn't hear any of those things. So if after 2 years he had decided to pen down his experience and maybe give an advice as to the way forward, I think that is commendable. All of us will get the opportunity to serve at places where we are living. We should be able to leave a blueprint. We should be able to leave something that will guide other people who move in future to go and work over there. So I think that you've done well. We'll all follow when you finish the launching of the book and get copies of it to read. And I pray that those who be mentioned or the issue that you raise will serve as positive criticism for others. They will not see it from the negative perspective, but as a guiding point to make Kolebu become a better place. That is the mother of all hospitals in Ghana.
That's right.
And so we all expect the very best from that hospital. And so whatever is it that is keeping it at the current state that it is, if people like you have been there are pointing it out, it's only fair that people will take it in good faith and see how they can amend their ways to make sure that it becomes a better place for all of us.
If you run a polyclinic, district hospital, cheap compounds, there's something here. It says the book gives a detailed account of how the monster was carefully and systematically dissected, examined, and nurtured. It further reveals the interventions that birthed the industrial harmony which the hospital has been enjoying for some time now, and what it will take to nurture and sustain a serene working environment. You need it, so people don't go on strike for you.
How much are people going to go for?
It should be at most 5050.
Boss, when we launch it, let him bring some opposition points.
My brother decided that.
Let him bring some opposition points.
He wants to.
Let's.
Shall I say it?
Members in the position will get it after I've served the incumbent.
Send us your thoughts and comments on our WhatsApp line. It will be on your screen shortly, and share with us the detail there. So, Mr. Yalsafo advises the president. He's a senior advisor to the president. And it says, this is a story written by John Appiah and Susie Efrifa of the Finder newspaper. It said the senior presidential advisor, Yalsafo has indicated that the twin hurdles of poverty and youth unemployment, if not dealt with, will pose a serious threat to conflict prevention efforts in the country. Mr. Safo said poverty and youth unemployment continue to be a major source of concern for major governments. Hence, equipping the youth with employable skills by expanding technical and vocational education and promoting entrepreneurship programs would reduce their vulnerabilities to exploitation, manipulation, radicalization, and engagement by criminal gangs and extremist movement. Doc, problem well diagnosed. Where are the solutions?
Well, first of all, let me say that good morning to all the viewers. Personally, I am into politics to help create opportunities.
Okay, mind the mic, please.
That is my overwhelming motivation.
Okay.
And the bigger I see the unemployment problem and poverty, the more inspired I am to be in this business.
Okay.
Because there are occasions when, just like in every trade, you get a little bit depressed based on events that happen in this politics. There are times when you contemplate whether to exit and maybe go back to the consulting room or to take on other challenges. But what keeps me grounded and remaining in politics is the fact that we have a duty and a responsibility to help create opportunities for those who are disadvantaged. And whether I would like it or not, leadership has a greater role to play compared to followership. That's right. And his diagnosis is correct, but it's been on the books for some time. When I say been on the books, if you do the surveys for the past 20 years, the biggest issue that will be on the list,
the front burner,
is always unemployment. And I can say that out of modesty, this government has made a lot of efforts to try and do something about unemployment. But there's still a lot that we can do as a government and as a people. One thing I want us to get clear, Johnny, is that government would definitely employ some or a percentage of the population. But everywhere in the world where you see a lot of improvement in the quality of life of their people, and where you see, development, the biggest employer all the time is not the government. The biggest employer is others apart from government. But what government does is to create the environment for those people to create more jobs.
That's right.
So a classical example in the States, for example, is like Amazon. Jeff Bezos. He has one of the biggest, organizational
chain companies, a conglomerate.
Yes. He is not the government, but a lot of people's lives depend on his business. But there are things that if we put in place today, it can systematically and progressively get him out of business. Things like maybe high taxes or increased cost of doing business through power, electricity, and other issues. So the point is that we must reorient our mind that yes, government will take some people, but we need a lot of entrepreneurs. And that's not to say government has no role to play. So that's what I would say. Look, one policy.
But then in trying to become entrepreneurs, you're looking at capital.
Yes.
Can you do, and I'll ask this question for the umpteenth time, can you do any meaningful capitalism without capital?
Yeah.
I have a fantastic idea.
Yes.
But where to get the money to start? It's not. You knock on the doors of the banks, they give you all manner of conditions. And I'm a startup, I'm a fresh guy.
Yeah.
How do I survive?
I am being careful this morning not to go on and on and on with some of the programs and projects we've executed to create opportunities. In order not to create the impression that, look, forget about this thing, we've done it. I'm being careful.
Right.
But I'm being modest in my discussion. But the point is that if you take capital, for example, when interest rates are high in a country, it can make it difficult for businessmen to do business. We call it the cost of credit.
Right.
In fact, when you have a business that is running already, that needs some capital to either do retooling, buy some new machines. If interest rates are high, it will be difficult to do that. And if you look at average interest rates before we came, it was about 30%. In fact, the primary policy rate, that's the rate at which Bank of Ghana gives money to the banks, was around 25.5 when we were coming. So if Bank of Ghana itself is giving 100 Ghana to a particular bank, and they have to pay back 25 cedis out of the 100 Ghana, if the bank gives it to you, how much are you going to pay? So today, as I speak, cost of credit has relatively gone down. It's around average 25% in the banks. Some places you can even get 21. But we still have some work to do. I wish it can. Look, if you go to Germany,
the thing is that the cost is down, but are they lending to the private people?
So that's why I'm saying that.
Because they prefer to lend more to government than to lend to the private people.
I agree. You see, but whether I like it or not, the rate must come down first. For you to start the argument is it translating into issuance?
Right.
So it's like there's work to be done, but it's progressive. You have to do one and then move to the other. Look, most of the 1D, 1F companies that have come up under this administration, they got Exim facility. Now, why were they comfortable with Exim, which is a government outfit, and not the commercial banks? Agwenya knows that it's because their rates are lower. It's a special, we call it concessionary rate. So you are getting, Exim is giving some as low as 8%, 6%. So what it means that now a businessman will be comfortable to take the risk to start a business. And my prayer is that organizations like Exim, the Ghana Development Bank that the minister that is about to build, should get a lot of resources, because the factory at Koforidua, which was defunct or moribund for some time, is up. The last time when President went there, it's employed about 600 people. Johnny, 600 youth or individuals is a great number. If each has a family of 5, you are multiplying 600 by 5, and you are talking about 3,000 individuals. So that has been done. Look, the last time OT region, I was excited.
Cassava,
exactly. It improves food security. It's improving the lives of those who are working there. It's preventing farmers from losing their produce through weather. Johnny, you can't cite OT and go to sleep. That's as I'm being modest. There's still a lot of work. When I was driving here, I saw quite a number of youth at Elwak.
Elwak, right.
The first thing that came to
what you saw there is like 1/4 of what was there on Monday.
So immediately when I saw them, like I said, the motivation got up, inspired. How do we? It's like a Marshall Plan. How do we increase the pace? How do we create so much opportunity? And also, maybe when my brother comes in, round 2, let's talk about the psyche of the youth when it comes to employment. Because I have met youth who are engaged in private sector, but they say, Doc, I want to leave this and wear uniform. Why? Because as for our buying, it is safe. So these are matters, these are serious matters. Otherwise, in the future, you can get 1,000 people at Elwak. Out of the 1,900 are employed in private sector. But the thinking is that a buying there is up to age 60. But in elsewhere, abroad and other places, people are in private sector. They don't have fear because they know that they will be kept in the job.
I hear you. Fred, step in for me. The senior advisor has diagnosed the problem. And I have read it also in the National Security Strategy, page 17. We've heard so many people talk about it. Sir Sam Jonah talked about, name them. We know what the problem is. We have diagnosed the problem. But how to solve the problem is proving difficult. Why?
Well, Johnny, thank you very much. And let me say good morning to our church viewers. I think that everybody who has put his mind to it, without stretching his mind, can tell you what the cause of unemployment is in our country. And often when they speak to people, they tend to profess the same solution. So it's as if we've been doing the same thing all these years and are expecting a different result. I believe in skills acquisition. I believe in people going through formal education and having all those things. But the question is, have we not done those things over the period? Has it given us the needed results? Now, go to the Galamsey sites and speak to the young men and young women who are into Galamsey and find out if they have obtained some skills or not. And it's interesting to know that majority of them are either carpenters, they are masons, they are drivers, they are hairdressers, They've acquired some skills.
Okay.
And yet, they are not putting those skills to use.
Why?
They will prefer to go to the Galamsey site where they can make quick and good money. Because I'm a hairdresser and I go and open my hairdressing shop. Now, I've gone to learn the trade. How do I set up a hairdressing shop? I may not have money to buy the container or to buy the kiosk. I may not have money to tool the kiosk, to pay electricity bill, to pay water bill, and all the things that are needed. And so even though the fellow has acquired the skills, he is simply not able to what? Set up the place. Speak to some of these hairdressers, they'll tell you can open their shops for a whole day, and maybe only one person walks into the shop. And so for the entire period that we are there, your lights are on, everything is on, you're going to pay, at the end of the day, you're going to pay bills. You don't get people patronizing your services.
You're going to do washing for 10 cedis.
For 10 cedis, for 5 cedis. And so it is not because it's as if it became a disincentive or motivation to want to go into fields like that. But for Galamsey, when you go there, you know, at the end of the day, by the way, you can get some small, at least some 200 and 500 cedis a day, you can eat, you can save something, and so you are motivated to go into that area. For me, if you want to tackle an employment problem as a nation, we need to go back, take the two-man partisanship from it, and find out concrete solutions. Ghana is said to be an agrarian economy. That our population, almost 60%, is into agriculture.
Right.
Go to the United States of America. The last time I checked, barely 30% of the population is into agriculture. And yet they're able to produce to feed that huge population and send the rest to other parts of the world. In Europe, what is the percentage of people in the agriculture sector? We have huge population in there, and yet we can't produce to feed ourselves.
The question is, when we did the agri census 2017-2018, we got to know that over 80% of our farm holders are old people who are either stark illiterate or semi-literate, who are not welcoming new technologies and mechanized interventions. Plus, the farmlands are being sold now for Galamsey and for real estate development. So that's our problem. We know what the problem is again.
We have diagnosed the problem. Why is it that a young man who has finished the university, the polytechnic, or even don't even have any formal education, is not interested in to go into agriculture?
Because when he was
grew up in a home where the parents are farmers, and all he has seen for his entire life is poverty. That even though the father said he's a farmer, he cannot even feed his own house. So when I'm going to my village, my auntie, who is a rice farmer in the village, calls me on phone and says, when I can, please buy some rice. So his own rice from her own farm cannot feed their family. I am into farming. And I'm beginning to see it as a hobby more than a business. Because if you put your mind to the one who start a business, if you don't take time, you just back out and you leave. How long does it take for plantain to get to
gestation period?
Gestation period of plantain? Over almost 2 years. Then when you finish and you go and harvest it, a whole bunch, you can go to the roadside and somebody will say, I'll pay 5 cedis, 10 cedis. A plant you have taken almost 24 months, taking care of, weeding, paying laborers and the rest. You are going to sell it for 5 cedis, 10 cedis. And if you don't sell it, you don't have any means of adding value to it. The next moment is rotten. You go to farm and you see your tomatoes going bad, your pepper going bad, your yams are going bad. It is good to go and have a factory in the tea region you call a processing plant. If I'm from Akpafu, towards Okwa area, and a plant is mounted towards Dambai, what is the road infrastructure in the region? So how do I cut my cassava from, say, Akpafu to Dambai, then I'm taking it to the processing plant? You have not solved any problem. For the cameras, it's beautiful, it's nice, but it's not solving any problem. I am saying
you would want a multifaceted approach to dealing with the problem.
That's right. You see, once you have set up that factory, the next we should thinking about is, can we have another factory that is mobbing up SSs, like an intermediary? So they are the vehicles to move now to the farmers and go and buy from the farmers, so that we take that burden off the poor farmer. He knows that as soon as we produce, a cow will come around, they'll come and buy my plantain, they'll come and buy my tomatoes, they'll come and buy my rice, whatever it is. You now take it to the factory, they process it. There should be somebody now who lifts it from the factory now, other export, and get to the market. I'm saying, Johnny, that if you go to the University of Ghana, they're going to that to speak. There are people who are doing crop science, people are doing animal science or all manner of things. If you pick 5 people from the University of Ghana when they complete their first degree or their masters, and government gets involved in our land tenure system, and say, let's go to the eastern region, let's go to the northern region, we've acquired 2,000 or maybe 200 acres of land. These are 2 pickups. This is a farmhouse for you. These are seedlings. These are 5 tractors. Go in there, whatever knowledge you have gained from school, go and put it to use. Use that to create employment for about 50 people. Banks, give them a loan. For the next 10 years, don't disturb them. You see, so we need to do this consciously.
But the banks are borrowing monies to people, monies that are not theirs. So Cowboys' money, my money, your money that the banks
That is
give.
why the Exim banks is why how come that when you travel abroad, Johnny?
So that, for example, if the gestation period for oil palm is 36 months, which bank will wait for you for 36 months?
So then we should complain. We need to buy the bullet. Because when you travel out, the bank gives you a loan, and it is 2% per annum. And so you know you can do something about it. If you go and take a loan in Ghana here, and you're going to pay, let's say you're paying 25%, just to retire the loan that you went for, you are now going to pay your utilities. Look at electricity bill. Look at our water bill. And all other things that you have to pay. So at the end of the day, if you put your cost to the profit you are making, it doesn't just measure up. And so people now are compelled to, bend corners, do illegal things. So you go to a factory in the night to engage the lights and use it illegally to produce. Because that's the only way they can survive. In the night, they find a way to get water without going through the meter. So we have created an environment that is not permitting people to express themselves and do the right thing. A young person has finished which level of studies? Instead of, I want to go into sewing. So he goes to rent a shop, buys a few machines, and plus some people who have gone to learn these skills to come and help us start sewing. The next moment, GRA walks to their office, they say you have not paid whatever money it is. They come and lock down the place and they are gone. Yeah, there's some persons at GRA have not even soap water. They don't even know what it takes to do business. And yet the law says that, oh, they are supposed to pay some money they have not paid, so you lock it up. Okobo is in the health sector. You are maybe a journalist, you get money, you want to go into business, let me go and open a pharmacy shop. Let me just the pharmacy as an example. Now you have to go and rent the shop. Before you open a pharmacy shop, pharmacy council will tell you, you need a service of a pharmacist.
To give you the license.
To give you the license. Now these pharmacists come to you and says, you know what, every month I'm going to take 3,000 cedis. Pay me up from 12 months. 1 year money, give it to me. So if that is 30,000, you have to give the 30,000 to the pharmacist. You have paid for the renting of the shop. Now they have to go through the process of registering you. If you pay that money to him, and they go and do the registration process, and you don't even succeed, your money is gone. He will not give it to you. If you succeed, it comes to work. Every year, you have to renew your license. Maybe the money you're supposed to pay to the pharmacy council to renew your license is 1,000 Ghana cedis. But to the pharmacy, you have to go and pay him another 30,000. Where are you supposed to get that money from?
Plus business operation permit, property rate,
you understand?
VRA.
So, VRA and all those things. So, a tablet that is supposed to cost...
If you pay the pharmacist before you get a license, it's like building the commander factory before getting the sugar cane.
It doesn't add up. Why does that
go ahead, Fred.
So the point I'm making is that the system we have created is simply not conducive. A young person, sometimes we think that the young people of today are not thinking well. But again, it's the things we have done to ourselves. You leave the university and you get a job in Accra. Maybe not even a government, some private sector job or your own private business. You're supposed to go and rent a room. You walk to the landlord and say, come and pay 2 years advance. Where are you supposed to get that money from? So from the word go, you are going to either take a loan or you are going to borrow that money from somebody to give to the landlord. Now you get a job that give you 2,000. Every month, you are using about 1,000 to service your rent. Just when you finish servicing that particular loan, the rent is all over. So as if you will be in that circle forever and ever. I am saying that unemployment, we can solve it. One, the fishing industry. Go and check. The last time I checked, Ministry of Agric, more than 50% of the fish we consume in this country comes from outside. That's right. Go and check the poultry sector. Chunk of the poultry we eat in this country comes from outside. As we speak now, if you like, drive to Pagaboda and see the number of vehicles that are entering Burkina Faso to go and cut onions, tomatoes, and what have you. When you have arable land over here, when we can go into irrigation. So these things, we say them beautifully on radio and television, but when it comes to implementation, we are just not ready to do it.
I hear you.
Banks are asking for collateral. And A young person who has finished school who wants to start business, where is he supposed to get the collateral from? He should go and mortgage his father's house or his mother's house. Okay. And so for me, senior minister has spoken. He has experience going to the mail, he understand everything. I think that approach we are using. You wake up one day and say, there's pressure. They say NAPCO. The next day, they say they are launching something else. They launch even NAPCO, they're supposed to pay them 700 cedis. In some cases, they work for about a year. They've not been paid any money. And yet you expect them to go to work every day.
Yes.
Now, the NAPCO is supposed to terminate after 3 years. Are not it?
Yeah.
It is coming to an end
in 4 days.
In 4 days. Meanwhile, we're told that after the 4 days, they are supposed to move to something more permanent. You have not put anything in place. So,
who told you?
What have you done?
You have to ask.
There are people, you have not done anything. If you have done, you have seen, you have heard. You understand? So, see, we are tickling ourselves. We are joking. As long as we continue to import everything that we eat, we will continue to create unemployment in our country.
Okay.
Because we don't produce what we eat, and we don't eat what we produce.
I hear you. Thank you very much. So we'll talk about the psyche of the young person, but also at the base of that, we'd like to remind ourselves that we said we're going to move from taxation to industrialization. It ends where Fred got, because if you import more, you pay more, you spend more. But if you export more, you earn more. It's basic economics. Now, George Nkoni, this is an entrepreneur. I put this on Facebook. Somebody tagged me. He says, I want to share my experience on what the finance minister said about government payroll being full and suggested for Ghanaian youth to venture into entrepreneurship. As a young entrepreneur who produces quality leather boots and other leather apparel, I managed to arrange a meeting with the Quartermaster General of the Ghana Police Service a week ago to present samples of my boots for his perusal and hopefully to get a piece of the contract to produce for the security service. Upon seeing the boots and testifying of its quality and durability, he bluntly said to me, "We can't help you nor work with you. The Ghana Police Service doesn't buy their boots from Ghana." I asked him, "Sir, please, can't you give me just a small quantity to produce for the new recruits?" He said, "We can't help you." I sat down and wondered what the Ghanaian entrepreneur had done wrong to merit such rejection by its own leaders. How would the young Ghanaian entrepreneur thrive if measures, support, and considerations are not in our favor? Will the American government reject its own citizens' handiwork for another? I kept asking myself. The system isn't friendly. Now all what the young entrepreneur has left is a plan and a lot of hope. And he puts the pump up finger there. And his number is 0200 023 610. Again, 0200 023 610. Viking Leatherwear on Instagram, and it's made in Ghana. Bro, proud of you. But Oko, this is it.
Johnny,
we're talking about. I'll bring Oko in. You come in. We're talking about psyche.
Yes.
This is a young man who says, I don't want to do anything negative. I want to be positive. I want to produce and help others earn jobs. I want to follow the finance minister's lead. But there's a blockade at the top. Yes. Told bluntly, we don't buy our boots from Ghana and we cannot help you. Yeah. That's a poke in the eye. You've broken his back.
Yeah, Johnny. So, first of all, even God, when he hears a story, sometimes he gives you the opportunity to say your side.
Right.
Like he told the Israelites, I'm here to listen to you. Let's talk. I've not heard from whoever he went to meet. So I'll be cautious about my statements.
Rules of natural justice.
I don't sound.
But that's why I put his phone number and his address there.
Now, there are two ways to such conversation or to look at this issue. Ideally, I wouldn't like the state or government to try and put a cold approach to someone who is trying to do a lot, like trying to produce and to innovate. This is my favorite watch.
Caveman?
Yes, I like watches. This Caveman's is highest end watch.
Okay.
It's automatic. I bought it from the gentleman because I believe that if a lot of us wear his watch, he would employ not 10, but 50, 100, 1,000.
Right.
The brand will go far. Ghana will follow the name. And at the end of the day, we become the winners. But if Caveman goes to the finance minister and says that, please, let all teachers wear my watch. Because of economies of scale, it's possible that someone can bring a watch of a similar quality, but the cost can be 1/3 of Cape-Man because maybe he's still building on the technology
exactly
to improve the more. Yeah, these are part of business. So if you want to supply, let's say, prison service or Ghana police, my wish is that a Ghanaian gets it. But when you go into the economy, the first question you ask that what is the capacity like? You understand? So the advice I'll give to such a person is that let Oko wear your shoe. Let TV3 workers wear your shoe. Follow a trajectory. And hopefully, when the capacity is overwhelming, you don't even make the case. We will start making the case. Johnny, I hope you understand what I'm saying. I've not heard about Viking shoes. I would like to buy one. Right. But I just want people to understand that in as much as our desire is that such things go to local producers, in business you need some capacity, you need some technology. The technology makes you produce at a price which is competitive, and that is how I want us to situate.
But he wants, for example, the contract. If he's producing, maybe he does for 20, 30, 40 people. Yeah. Now he thinks that he can make for 100 people. Yeah, yeah. He says, give me the capacity, because the more you produce, the lesser the price.
Absolutely.
Why won't you give people like that a chance? I mean, then he's not alone. There are people who can make uniforms. There are people who can make badges. There are people who can do a lot of things. Young people, but Johnny, we don't seem to engage them.
Johnny, I mean, as a way to buid local capacity, like you said, the other way around is also feasible, where you can give someone, you have the capacity to do 1,000 a month. So in a year, 12,000. So let's say do 12,000 for us. Once you order the 12,000, they can get capital and they can build their capacity. That's also true. So I think it's all about policy. It's all about policy. Not only for the shoes, but we can say that as a country, for products that come in huge numbers, we will dedicate, let's say, 10% for local players, even if their capacity is low, and even if their prices might not be competitive. And that is very important. It's a deliberate process to try and build capacity. That can also be done. Look, as recently a shoe factory was opened in the, I think, is it Eastern region, when the president was doing his talk. Right. A shoe factory. Is it? I've forgotten the name. But
there's one also in Ashanti region that we're allowed to go down.
Yes, yes. So I think policy can make us, the economics might not be, and when you study economics, they will tell you the forces determine the price, according to Adam Smith. But government intervention can set another price for some people. Okay. So going forward, but you see,
for people like this, yes, we can create a tax haven for them. Tax holidays. Because if we can give tax holidays to hotels and others, we should be able to encourage them.
Yeah, Johnny.
Fred raises a very important point. The moment you give an indication that you want to start the business, the assemblies are on your neck, GRA is on your neck, everybody is on your neck to say, give me money. And the money is a small loan you got from a bank.
Johnny, let me quickly say that, number one, most of the things you've talked about, to be very honest with you, are the things that have been captured in the 1D, 1F. In terms of policy, where we give you exemption from duties, importation of machinery, where the government gives you tax holiday, where the government even writes a letter to introduce you to assemblies to expedite your setting up of the industry. Most of these things have been captured, but it's possible that maybe it is big or medium to big factories that may be based on the paperwork or based on the processes are taking advantage. Right. So this is also an opportunity. This discussion is an opportunity to ask about the very low, how do you call it, factories. But you see, I don't want to take the wind out of his sail, but you'll be amazed also with the number of government programs that support small industries. Like, what's the name? Venture.
GA.
Yes, they have
NBSSI.
Exactly. GA. We have quite a number of them.
They are not resource.
They're
just on paper.
So we can.
Is the truth. What Fred is
No. I agree.
They don't have money. They
have just on paper.
They have names.
So the discussion should be that government should resource them. Exactly. Right. Give them the funds.
You mentioned that earlier.
Right. And for this gentleman, finally, one thing I would like to tell him is that sometimes you have to go to someone in negotiation. I did some program with the government.
Right.
Is that when you sit with people at the table, one of the things you must ensure or ask is whether they have the capacity to put their signature on the table to accept the things that have been to actualize what has been agreed.
People can't give what they don't have.
Exactly. When you go, honestly, when you go to, let's say, the head of the IGP, if you understand government dynamics, the IGP is not the one more or less who determines, where a shoe is sourced. You must understand it's because of the numbers. More often than not, it will be the Interior Ministry. And the minister is part of the executive. So that the conversation should be that how do we put pressure on government to find a policy that allocates a percentage of big contract to small factories. Once that gets on the table, then you can walk to the IGP and say, I've come to make sure that you work with this policy and give us some 1%.
I'll give you a classic example before I bring Fred in. Sometime in December 2019, senior journalists and editors were called to the Flagstaff House, the Jubilee House, for a meeting. At that particular meeting, it was at that time when we had done the story about the rice glut in the north, from BC and all those areas. The president gave a directive there that forthwith all refreshments that will be paid with the state's resources, that would include rice meals, should be rice from Ghana. The president was direct in that. He made the directive, or he gave the directive, but there was no follow-up policy to it. So today, you will find ministries, departments, and agencies hosting people, and you can bet that for some of them, the rice that are being used are not local rice. So even though the president has spoken and given a direct order because he had watched the videos that TV3 had put out, and some other persons are championing it, up until now in 2021, we are still doing foreign rice. So it's one thing saying it, and another thing putting a policy to it and getting people to monitor, evaluate, and ensure that it is done. If we do that, we won't be begging anybody for anything. Gradually, we'll get there.
Johnny.
That for me is the big thing, Fred.
Johnny, I am a development student. And I've taken the pain to study how America, Europe, the South Americans have developed. I'm saying that everything must be done consciously. You must sit down, you must plan, you must determine what you want to achieve and put the necessary policies in place. A few years back, I started an advocate in this country. The government is the biggest consumer of almost everything in this country.
Right.
If the furniture industry alone, we can come up with a policy that says that for all government agencies and institutions, make sure you buy only made in Ghana furniture.
Buy from Agou.
Buy from Agou.
Put gas.
You see, when you tell people will tell you, oh, our finishing, our this. Carry young men from polytechnics to the techies and the rest. Let them go and learn the finishing. If government can decide, at the time I started this advocate, I remember that I even wrote to the Speaker of Parliament then. Just around that same time, Parliament said they were doing renovation and they were importing the furniture from abroad. Parliament that I was asking that they should look at this issue and put it, they themselves were buying from outside. Go to almost all our ministries and departments. The furniture you see there, it lasts for barely 6 months. It's broken. They've packed it somewhere. All come from outside. If that industry alone, we can make a single policy and say, you know what? Henceforth, every agency, every department of the state use locally made furniture. Do you know how much employment you are going to create? Because in that industry, you need accountants, you need a marketing officer, you need almost everybody. You need the health practitioners working over there. Who will listen? Who made that policy? Because sometimes our personal and selfish interest. If I'm going to tender and bring this from outside, I can get some money out of it. If I'm going to do it locally, I'll not get them, so I don't care. Printing or even textbooks. Printing. We print a lot in this country. Sometimes we carry the things to China to go and print and bring. As long as you continue to operate that way, you create employment over there and create unemployment over here. And so these things, we need to sit down as a nation and say, what do we do?
Tell me.
How do we find a lasting solution?
What do you propose?
And I am saying the agriculture is very, very key for me. If we can today task all the district assemblies that, you know what, look around your district, find one economic activity. If it is fishing you want to do,
so that's the one they've actually.
It is not working that way. Partner with a private person. Bring your money, Let's share whatever proof we get from it. So we can say, maybe because we're district, we're into poultry. If we alone every month, every year, we can raise about 200,000 birds with eggs. Students can close from school during break time or during vacation. They can even go there and go and do cleaning and pick eggs, and they are marking, they are paying them. We can create a sustainable employment. Another district will take maybe fish farming. Another will take maybe vegetable, tomato. So you create some competition among even the districts. How do you say you are doing free education in Ghana? How do you say you are doing school feeding program? And rice. Where I come from, our major agricultural activity is rice farming. And so if you are coming to do free school feeding, whatever it is, in my area, and the rice that you are going to give to the kids,
it's imported.
It's imported. What are you telling the ordinary farmer out there? Go to the paper store company, and it tells you most of the rice that they send to our schools come from outside. How then do we encourage the local farmer?
But I'm saying that the president made a direct, and anybody who was there, I was there with all of us, Bernard Avle, Francis Aban, Okatechi, all of them were there. I was sitting at the front after money, our president. The president stood in front of me, just about 2-3 steps away, and he said, every spend for refreshment by state agency, department, whatever it is, must be with local rice. I'm saying that since that time, we had the Minister for Special Development Initiative, Minister for Trade and Industry, Minister for Agric, Minister for National Security, the senior minister was there. All those people who are telling us about the solutions, they were there that particular day. In fact, they were seated behind the president, and the president was throwing questions to them to answer. We are in 2021. We are 2 months away from December, and we are still eating foreign rice. Is it that we don't respect the president, or that there was no policy direction?
See, sometimes I am very reluctant to take this whole subject to purely partisan conversation.
No, it's not partisan.
Because
I agree. An executive direction.
The point I want to make is that you can't blame it on only one government. As a country, we have not addressed our minds to these things. It is not enough for a president to meet the media and just announce this thing. It's as if, oh, I wake up one morning and my kids are disturbing me in the house, and I just make a promise. If you are really very serious about these things, it should be backed by a policy. It should be backed by some document. We all know that when you go to our borders, every now and then rice is coming in. So you need to put some policies in place, either by raising the duties at the port, so that the rice you are bringing from outside will become so expensive that when you bring it, the local person cannot buy it. That way, it becomes the disincentive to want to bring rice from outside. But if the duties decide that the local rice is more expensive than the imported rice, what happens?
Well,
that is why the president can make that announcement, and yet nobody will implement it, nobody will take it seriously.
I hear you very much. Let's read some of your messages, and then we'll get your closing thoughts out there. Ambassador Sampiale says, what SDG activity are we promoting in Ghana? And he wants one of your lapel pins, Okoboy. So find him and give him your lapel pins. He said, where can he get some? Ambassador Sampiale. So find him and give him some.
Your Excellency.
Hello, Johnny. Please. This is Sly, Weka and Kolebu. This is a question to Dr. Okoboy. Please, do you know HSWU are on strike in Kolebu starting from today? Yes, he knows, but he is not the health minister, deputy health minister. You have 3 people there. I've told you people to put carpenters in positions of carpenters. You won't listen. Johnny, good morning to you and your panel. The NPP government has no clue in curbing the unemployment situation in the country. All they know is empty promises and non-existing figures. Ghanaians are tired. Ishmael Bash in Bimbila Northern region. Good morning, Johnny. Please ask the Agric Minister when they will open the system up for a 2018 batch of veterinary technicians to apply, since government has now granted financial clearance. Also, beg him that this recruitment shouldn't be politically motivated, as most of us have sat home since 2018 and should be considered first. We were told they are only recruiting 550 vet technicians now, and the 2018 batch isn't up to that. In all these, there are 3 batches unemployed now, and our number stands at 750. Good morning, Johnny. NABCO beneficiaries are pleading with GES to at least maintain the beneficiaries working for them. Some NABCO trainees have all the requirements to teach in GES, so they should get their data and help them. The schools need them. Kofi in Ho. Bafa Michael Oscar says, good morning, Johnny. And the current situation of youth unemployment is alarming. During the week, I visited whole National Fire Service headquarters. The number of youth that poured out there for employment suggests that the leadership of this country needs to take drastic action. My opinion on this is I am appealing to the labor union to reduce the pension year to 50, and that will give way for the youth to also establish themselves. From Anu Boso, thank you. I'm afraid to hear that payroll is full, but some people are still trying to enter the system. Akufado's government, do something for your people. Thanks. Yakubu Husseini. Good morning, TV3. Johnny, if you are frustrated at the circle baller, go and clean it yourself. I know that is what the president will be saying to you after the rants, and you should go fix the road at zonal office. Well, I doubt that will happen. I don't look like Toby Fiti. The ban on tricycles, popularly known as Aboboya on Accra highways, is a fantastic initiative by the Greater Accra Regional Minister. Well, it's been postponed to the 2022 February, but in a FIA question team, they have banned it. And I hope the ban is to ensure the compliance and enforcement of Road Traffic Regulation 2012 LI 2180. I'll be happy if other regions also take a cue to be proactive in ensuring that our cities are clean. Good morning to the awaiting General Secretary, Mr. Charles Bisu, blueprint from Esika Doketan. If there are issues to be investigated as the NPP is demanding, then the issue of a person from the camp of the NPP who accused the ex-president Mahama of spending $10 million to pray. Okay, well, this is not it. Musa Abaton Kumasi says, Musa Bato in Kumasi says President Akufo-Addo stated on the NPP 2020 manifesto launch in Cape Coast that they have successfully put an end to Graduate Unemployment Association by creating NAPCO. Now, rushing for employment has exposed him. NPP lacks understanding between effort and result. NAPCO cannot be substitute for unemployment. If you do propaganda with creating employment, unemployment stamped will expose you. The NPP government promised lots of employment to the extent that the country will import labor. Where are the jobs? NAPCO is either what is their fate, ending, what is their fate? Are they going to be permanent as promised by the government, or add to the unemployment? God save us, Lord, from Takrady. Good morning, Johnny. I'm still reminding Dr. Okuboy about our rent deductions in Kolebu. How can majority of us be in single rooms sharing washrooms with more than 10 people and 10% of our salaries still being deducted? Most of the rooms are seriously leaking and dilapidated. We still use our own monies for renovation works. Johnny, please help. We are suffering and management don't care about us. Nyovi in Kolebu. But you said you don't like him as a board chairman. Good morning, Johnny. I think Okuboy should apologize to the good people of Ghana for taking her to Oxford definitions over the labor, over the harbor at Cape Coast, for his boss to admit he made a mistake. Was really looking up to him. I think he should apologize. Raymond from Teshi, you are referring to last week. Maybe Okuboy will apologize. I think Doc should have been maintained at Kolebu for his massive work done to change the hospital for better. We all witnessed his competency and enthusiasm he deployed at the hospital during his regime. I'll advise President Mahama to appoint him as the board chair at the hospital again if he wins power in 2024. What will he be doing from now to 2024? Hence, he should be mindful and circumspect if he has opportunity to speak on TV. I wish he should be objective in his political issues and speak the truth. Robert Mugabe inside Bono East in Kajeji. Johnny, Nana and his party told us that they are going to help entrepreneurs. Where is it? Michael Azusime from Kumasi. Johnny, anytime you address the unemployment issue, all the NPP individuals try to project capitalist economy. They just don't want to accept it. Evans Basim. Good morning, Johnny and your team. Please tell Dr. Okuboy that after his party had collapsed more private companies that were employing energetic Ghanaians, you are here talking about revamping the private sector. The truth of the matter is that the few private companies that are left have taken advantage of unemployment and are cheating employees with that menace. So many young Ghanaians are rushing to the government sector because SNIT and salary are rest assured. In fact, the NDC man has said it all. He is a genius. Thank you. This is Baba from Nkoko. And looking at the number of nurses, teachers, and extension workers that the government has employed over the period, I think they have done well. Thanks, Claude. Well, we can't read all the messages, but thank you very much for sending your messages in at this point. And quickly, maybe a last one. Johnny, good morning to you and TV3. Johnny and team wants to know what, please, the NPP government promised us jobs in the excess there. Okay, well, I think we've read something in that light already. Doc, enter for me. Somebody's asking here. Please ask why government doesn't feel reluctant to increase taxes. Secondly, do they think government doesn't have solution to unemployment problems in the country? Our taxes are being used to buy V8 and hotel services. That's what he's alleging. But somebody is saying, I saw you noting something. Somebody is asking a critical question about we collapsing private enterprises, and now we are talking about revamping and bringing them back. He cannot marry the two.
Yeah, so I think we have to be careful as a people not to fall for the propaganda and misrepresentation sometimes from political actors. If I have a private business, I'm a contractor, I get a 1 million Ghana cedis job, I get a loan of 1 million Ghana, and I use half to get a new vehicle, a Prado, and then refuse to pay my workers. They go on demonstration, a court awards fine, and the company collapses. How do you go and blame government for collapsing the company? This is a narrative the NDC has pushed, and it's a dangerous narrative that if you are listening and you wrote that message, you need to listen carefully. Let me give you one example. Capital Bank, today as we speak, I'm not talking about rumors, I'm talking about facts. The CEO is in court, having accepted to pay back monies he abused and misused. We had banks that were not following corporate rules and procedures. Their risk management was bad. They used people's money to do funny stuff. Some of them could not even pay monies that were requested by their clients. Bank of Ghana follows their rules. Some of them go under and are absorbed based on their own actions. And an opposition member who wants to come to power says that, look at them, they've collapsed the bank. Who told you this government collapsed the banks? If we collapse the bank, how come ASEAN is in court accepting to make payments? Yes, please. Sometimes you fall for propaganda. This government is going to create it's working to create the environment for businesses to come up. If you're a business, you don't manage your things well, and you go under, you have to take responsibility. Governments don't micromanage businesses. There are other banks. Car Bank is a Ghanaian business. Why is Car Bank operating? We have banks that are still there. So please, there are a bank like UT. They broke their single obligor limit. I saw the documents from BOG. If you're a bank, you're not supposed to give some amount of money to one person because if they refuse to pay, you can collapse. Some banks did that. And we are here because an opposition member says, oh, they've collapsed the bank. You also sing that song. Calm down and listen. Read. And you know that it's not like they love those banks or they love the client. In fact, had it not been for this government, most of those clients, your monies would have vanished like it vanished some time ago. So please, we have a big job as a country to create opportunities for our youth. I understand. That's why today I'll be modest. But it does not also mean that this government has gone to sleep. Factories, Obuasi Mines was dead. Today, as we speak, it's been resuscitated and this government. It took things like the tax exemptions, tax holidays, import duties, funds, and all that. So we are working hard, but the problem is huge, and all of us must come together, not with propaganda, but with facts, so that we fix the problem.
Thank you, Fred.
Johnny,
you have the final thought.
I don't know why.
So one of my seniors, I'm not sure if I should mention his name, but he says, how come all these fine ideas come to you when you're in opposition? When you get power, then you forget everything.
Wait until I get opportunity in government and see what I will do.
But you have been in government before.
I have never been in government.
You have never been in government?
As a person, give me opportunity and see what I will do.
You're a Deputy National Communications Officer. That's a big position. I was serving
my party.
Your party was in power.
Can I proceed?
No, I'm asking you.
Can I proceed? Please?
No, you will proceed.
See, I don't know why.
I'll come back. Are you ignoring me?
I'm not. I'll come back.
Don't ignore me on my own show.
I'm not. I'm asking.
I'm asking. Can I proceed? No, you are ignoring me on my own. I'm hosting you.
I am sorry.
Thank you very much.
Can I proceed?
I gave you water. I've given you nice seat and everything. I'm asking as Deputy National Communications Officer, you had close affinity to power. My senior says, how come you suddenly get all these fine ideas when you are in power?
You have not started the development program.
I have not called you.
He said he just started the program.
I have not called. Okay, so it's when he started the program that the fine ideas. Okay, it's okay.
If you have answered yourself, we can leave it at that. Now we can proceed. You see, Johnny, I don't know why my brother is getting wet up this morning over this issue. See, if there's any government in our history in the Fourth Republic that has done a disservice to this country, especially in the area of job creation, is Nanado's government. I told you from the very beginning I didn't want to go too partisan on this subject. But from the way you started, I have no choice than to come. See, Amazon in the United States of America.
Please, we don't.
Do you think that if they are going through any problem, the government of America can just get up one day and say, we are closing you up? Hold it. Hold it. We all agree that there was some wrongdoing in the banking sector.
Yes.
We all agree that they didn't do a few things well. Yes. What do you do if you are smart and you are thinking about the impact they have on the country? You take over the management, you can prosecute them, allow the institutions to remain as they are, appoint new people to manage it. Dr. Bako is in Doom's Bank alone. Apart from maybe Ghana Commercial Bank in this country, I don't know of any other bank that has branches than that bank. The number of employment that bank alone created in this country.
Okay.
The number of employment.
It was taken over.
Hold it. You take it over. You have closed down the branches.
No, but not.
Please. I'm saying that if you are minded, and you really wanted to.
Thank you very much. Grateful, friend. Thank you. So we get your point that you say they'll be sorted. Happy birthday to Honorable Mohammed Abdulaziz, as the former member of parliament for the Mion constituency. And also a happy birthday to Joyce Mawunyo Dochi, a police officer. A happy birthday is from Togbu Fiti the 5th. Also a happy birthday to Sergeant Nana Kwame Domprem. This is from Nana Yajanto of the CPP. And also a happy birthday to Stella Che from Nana and all level 400 weekend students of the MUCG. They love you. Now, remember to buy your Camel antiseptic liquid and support the Camel Because We Care initiative with your 10 Ghana pesos to help a child with cancer. Give 10 Ghana pesos, give hope. This initiative is proudly supported by 3 Foundation, the CSR wing of Media General. Thank you to Dr. Bernard Okoboy. He's a former member of parliament for the Lejikuku constituency, also former deputy health minister and former board chairman of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. He has a book coming up tomorrow. Go find it after tomorrow. I'll show you where. And also Fred Agbenyo, he deputizes on the big desk, very huge desk of international relations at the NDC. Fred, thank you very much. Let's have lunch soon. Thank you very much indeed. We'll see you after the break. There's sports and more here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.